Hello, welcome to Just the Dis. My name is Brian, and we talk about Blu-rays here. And today, our little episode is going to just be me basically unboxing the March package from Vinegar Syndrome, which is interesting in that the main package itself is a little deceptive, because if you're just getting the main stuff from them, it looks like it's just 3 movies, but in fact, you're getting 5 movies here, and we'll talk about that. So first up, we have SCHIZOID and X-RAY. I'd forgotten that this was going to be both movies, just like it was in the Scream Factory set. And of course, this is a 4K. I flipped the artwork in here. And it's a really cool 4K in that you're getting a double feature here of 4K films. Inside you have SCHIZOID and X-RAY 4Ks, and then you have your Blu-ray. And these are 2 interesting movies. So SCHIZOID is the one with Klaus Kinski, if you're keeping track, and X-RAY is the one with Barbie Benton. And they're kind of slashery, kind of mystery, thrillery kind of things. The SCHIZOID film is about a renowned psychiatrist who is unable to reconcile his relationship with his teenage daughter, that is Klaus Kinski. And the daughter is Julie, and she is played by, is she listed here? Crap, I'm gonna forget her name. It's the woman from she's from Jaws 2, she's from Angel 1 or 2, I can't remember which, but this young actor you'll totally recognize when you see her, and I'm definitely a fan. But so it's kind of a whodunit, where you have the doctor has a therapy group with various patients, many of which could be considered the killer, and so it's kind of like, who is the one, you know? And it's got a really good cast. Outside of Klaus, you have Craig Wasson, you have Christopher Lloyd, you have oh shoot, I'm blanking on everything today, guys. I'm really sorry. There's at least one more actor that I recognize from TV that I can't recall his name, but it's. I will say this: SCHIZOID looks great, like really, really good. Both of these are Canon films, and X-RAY doesn't look quite as good as SCHIZOID, but they both look solid. But yeah, SCHIZOID kind of blew me away with how great it looks. It says, taking its strong stylistic cues from giallo genre director David Paulson's SCHIZOID is a delirious whodunit headlined by cult film superstar Klaus Kinski alongside Donna Wilkes. There we go. That's the girl from Angel. And an early appearance from Christopher Lloyd, all amplified with a throbbing electronic score by Craig Huxley, presented here in stunning 4K. I agree with that for sure. And then X-RAY is about a woman who, as you can see here, rejected the Valentine of love-struck classmate decades later. She's come to the hospital for a routine medical examination, but when her X-rays seem to show something unusual, Susan finds herself trapped in a bizarre medical nightmare, made all the worse as her vengeful childhood Valentine, disguised among the hospital staff, begins murdering everyone in his path as a means of proving his undying romantic obsession. It's directed by, the DP is Nicholas von Sternberg, Joseph von Sternberg's son, and it does look good. Like I said, if we look into the specifics here, SCHIZOID presented a high dynamic range restored from its 35mm original camera negative, and X-RAY also restored from its 35mm original camera negative. But as I said, I think I noticed a lot more graininess and just a tiny bit less detail in X-RAY, whereas SCHIZOID was just as sharp as the scissors that are used as a murder weapon in that film. Just beautiful. And so we have a whole bunch of features here. I think one of them is ported over an archival interview with X-ray director Boaz Davidson. But the rest of the stuff is new. You have Shooting by March, a brand new interview with Schizoid writer-director David Paulson. Hide the Scissors, a brand new interview with Schizoid actress Donna Wilkes. Blood in the Jacuzzi, a brand new interview with Schizoid makeup artist Erica Euland. A Wellesley graduate, a brand new interview with Schizoid actress Flo Lawrence. And Ultraviolet Vengeance, the talent and technicians of X-Ray, a brand new making of documentary featuring interviews with the cast and crew of X-Ray, plus that Bad Medicine, that archival interview. So a really nice 4K. Probably my favorite of the main three here. I just really dug this release. Next up we have a double feature here with Hard Rock Zombies and Slaughterhouse Rock. So again, 2 movies in one. And this has reversible art where you can feature Slaughterhouse Rock if you like, or you can have Hard Rock Zombies be the headliner with a bonus feature of Slaughterhouse Rock. So these are both first-time watches for me. I think Slaughterhouse Rock might be my preferred film of the two, and I'll just go through what they're about in a second here. But yeah, Hard Rock Zombies, I'd heard somebody call it this year's Spookies, and I think that's an apt description. I will just say, maybe not for me, maybe not the film that was designed just for me, but I can see it being something that hardcore fans of the film would really appreciate. I will say right out of the gate, though, it does have that warning that collectors kind of don't love to see at the beginning of a movie, which is when you put in Hard Rock Zombies, you hit play, and then it says basically that they had to restore it. It was scanned from I wonder if they say on the back here. Let's see. Archival film elements. Yeah, they aren't specific here. So they have an archival print, and it's from the R-rated cut of Hard Rock Zombies, and they say that the unrated footage had to be inserted from, I think, a tape master or the best quality master they had, and that you'll notice those intercuts when they happen, and you will, because they definitely stand out. And so it's a tough call of, like, do you incorporate that footage and have it potentially take a viewer out, or do you keep it as an R-rated cut and then have it as bonus scenes? I don't know. It's a tough call, ultimately. I think some people would rather you put it in, and so in that way, they're doing right by the people that, want to see the movie. But so this is, 2 heavy metal hard rock horror movies. Slaughterhouse Rock, Alex, a college student, is being plagued by strange dreams in which a grotesque man commits heinous acts of torture and murder with the help of his friends. Alex discovers that he has an unexplained telepathic link to a notorious killer who once lived on Alcatraz Island and whose bloodlust extends beyond the grave. When his supernatural experiences begin taking on the real-life manifestations, Alex and his friends sneak into the abandoned prison to put an end to their reign of terror, only to unwittingly walk into a bloodbath. Dispensing with any sense of narrative logic, Dmitry Logothetis' Slaughterhouse Rock gleefully combines tracks from new wave musical sensation Devo with plentiful gut-busting gore and touches of humor, all set in the spooky, fog-filled environs of the infamous Alcatraz prison, which is pretty cool to have that as a setting. This thrill-filled neon nightmare hits Blu-ray from a brand new 4K restoration of its original 35mm camera negative with its off-censored gore fully restored. So I know this came out from Code Red years ago, but that was a 2K scan, and it was, again, years ago, and I know this looks better than that. So if you have that disc, you might consider an upgrade to this. Additional information and special features, newly scanned and restored in 4K. I mentioned that. Low-key horror, an interview with cinematographer Nicholas Joseph von Sternberg. The Girl That Lives, an interview with actress Tammy Hyler. Wearing the Right Clothes, an interview with actor Nicholas Salozzi.
Lunch Break with Claws, an interview with actor Al Fleming. And then Hard Rock Zombies, a heavy metal band, has been invited to appear in a conservative small town. What they don't know is that their hosts are in fact a family of horrific, murderous mutants whose patriarch is none other than Hitler himself. Yeah, that's where it gets a little crazy. There's a little bit of like a slight like Texas Chainsaw creepy family vibe, but then they throw that in the mix and things get even crazier. It's kind of nuts, I'll say for sure. After being swiftly murdered, Cassie, the only non-violent member of this depraved clan, wills the band back to life. Soon, the stuffy townspeople are faced with an unwelcome reckoning as the zombified musicians thrash and maim their way through the community in the name of grisly revenge and love. Without a doubt, one of the most original zombie films in the history of the genre, Krishna Shah's Hard Rock Zombies is a dazzling blend of horror, film, and musical, filtered through the experiential and art house cinema sensibilities. Jam-packed with outrageous song and dance sequences juxtaposed with over-the-top violence and ludicrous plot twists, Hard Rock Zombies comes to Blu-ray for the first time ever in its completely uncut version sourced from the only known 35 elements with video inserts. So they do mention it there. Yeah, there's some fun songs in here. There's some ballady ones that are kind of charming, and, you know, it's fun. But Slaughterhouse Rock might be my preferred one. So that is that. And then last in the main group, you have Reform School Girls, directed by Tom DeSimone, who I think did he do Hell Night? I want to say he did Hell Night. But this is sort of a long-time cult item, Reform School Girls, from, I want to say, 86. Yep. The Pridemore Juvenile Detention Facility isn't just a place for troubled teenage girls to serve their time. Instead, it's a living hell with sexual depravity and violence. Jenny, a fresh inmate, becomes the de facto protector of Lisa, an innocent young girl forced to be a plaything to anyone after her body. Then there's Charlie, a hardened teenager lesbian who torments her fellow prisoners through brutal acts of sexual sadism, but no one instills more fear and even the toughest girls than the sadistic Edna, who with a blind eye turned by money-hungry Warden Sutter, delights in terrorizing her beautiful prisoners. However, the girls have had enough, and things are about to change at Pridemore. From acclaimed filmmaker Tom DeSimone, The Concrete Jungle, Reform School Girls is a sublimely trashy and over-the-top women in prison / juvenile delinquent classic, reframed for the grimy punk sensibilities of the 1980s. Starring punk rock superstar Wendy O. Williams, cult film legend Sybil Danning, and featuring a career performance from former Warhouse superstar Pat Ast. Vinegar Syndrome is proud to bring Reform School Girls to Blu-ray, featuring a brand new 2K scan along with hours of exclusive extras, including the fascinating story of how this B-movie masterwork came to be. And you can see a bunch of stuff here. So Young, So Bad, So What? An extended making of documentary, brand new interviews, cast and crew, Pat Ast Superstar, interview with theatrical producer Alan Eichler, Ode to Wendy, an interview with author and critic Brianna Whipple on the life and career of actress Wendy O. Williams, archival commentary track with writer-director Tom DeSimone, commentary track with queer film historian Elizabeth Purcell, and video footage from the play Women Behind Bars. Newly scanned and restored in 2K from its 35mm inner positive. So that is the main group. And I will say, just not throwing any shade of any kind, I decided to step out of and hold off on this month's VSA title, which was another Billy Blank's 90s action movie. It was a tough decision for me, I'll be honest. I just had to made some tough calls lately about the direction I'm going with my collecting, and I've collected all the VSA titles thus far. And so the OCD completist of me was like, I must continue. But there was a part of me that's like, I just don't know when I'm going to watch that movie. And maybe I can just wait and be a little bit more selective about the VSAs moving forward. And so I might do that. we shall see what comes next for the VSA line. But I will say it felt kind of good to be able to say no, not because there's anything wrong with what they're putting out, but at least for me, I'm like, do I really need another 90s action movie? I like those films, but I'll be honest, like what I started thinking about specifically was how much am I watching those kind of films right now? And so I think that's part of it. Like maybe if I get in a mode where I'm watching a lot of those at any given time, I might come back to it and get it. And hopefully it won't have sold out, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. But I just want to let folks know, like, it's okay to not buy everything from a specific line. You know, I get the idea of wanting to be a completist and I respect it. And like, it's part of my collector's DNA, but I'm really starting to try and move away from that and try to be a little bit more selective, although it may not seem so sometimes on this channel, but that's what I'm trying to do. So let me just throw in a few more from the partner labels. I'm not going to go too deep on these, but I just want to let you know that they're available. This is pretty cool. The Other French New Wave Volume 1. This is from Canadian International Pictures, their second release after the Ernie game. And I haven't had a chance to check this one out yet, but this is pretty exciting because it is 3 films. Here, I'll just go through what it's talking about in the back here. 3 trailblazing classics from the dawn of Quebec's cinematic revolution. You have Cat in the Bag, The Merry World of Leopold Z, and Yule 871. So 3 films included in this set. One is from 1964, then 65, and 66, progressively. Cat in the Bag. On the cusp of adulthood, Claude loses faith in society and commits to a slate of revolt, which strains his relationship with Barbara and leads him on a path to isolation. Featuring an original score by jazz legend John Coltrane, Gillies Gruel's experiment in spontaneous cinema is a timeless exploration of youthful disillusionment that brought new audacity to Quebec cinema. These are all black and white films, by the way, which is cool. The Merry World of Leopold Z. On Christmas Eve, a snowplow driver, Leo, races to clear the streets of Montreal and complete his holiday shopping in time for midnight mass. The featured directorial debut of celebrated filmmaker Gillies Carl. The Merry World of Leopold Z is an offbeat holiday treat that builds to a disarmingly resonant conclusion. And Yule 871, during a weekend visit to Montreal, a Parisian engineer, the Bride Wore Black's Charles Denner, has a romantic fling, befriends a young girl, and rethinks his war-fractured past while navigating an unfamiliar new world. An early breakthrough for prolific auteur Jacques Godbout. Yule 871 is an artfully directed, deceptively breezy convergence of cultures. So I think this is really cool. I, of course, had never heard of either of these 3, and that's exciting because that means that that's what CIP is going to be bringing out, maybe digging deep, as they already have, into the annals of Canadian cinema and really highlighting some important films. And that's what looks like we're getting here. And again, this is Volume 1, which indicates we may see more of these. These are scanned and restored in 2K from the 35mm inner positives. You also get some shorts, The Rink, The Big Swim, Pierce on the Rocks, alternate audio tracks for Leopold Z, Yule 71, and Pierce on the Rocks, alternate English opening and closing credits for Leopold Z, theatrical trailers, bonus shorts, Very Nice, Christmas Cracker, and 23 Skidoo, essays by historian Eric Fillion, and reversible cover plus subtitles. So definitely interested in what Canadian International Pictures is doing moving forward. They've announced some things on an interview I read recently, which there's one really exciting documentary that they'll be bringing out that I cannot wait for the release of, called Devil at Your Heels. We'll definitely talk about that when it comes out. And then lastly, we'll talk about the new AGFA release. This is Emily Haggins' debut film, Pathogen, from 2006, I want to say. Yeah. And this is shot on video. For those that don't know Emily Haggins, she is a prodigy of a filmmaker and is still making films now, which is really cool. But she was a big part of the Austin film community at the time she was working on this film and was really sort of, she got a lot of attention for it, and rightfully so, because she was 12 when she made this movie. And it's pretty darn good considering she's 12 years old or not. Like, I mean, I just think it's a fun, middle school zombie movie. And she did a really good job with it. I remember hearing about it at the time, and I ordered the DVD from like her website, and we watched it and we liked it. And I think we also watched this documentary that's included as part of the special features. But yeah, it's a fun zombie movie. And also conceived when she was 12, released when she was 15. And again, she's still making films today, which is really cool. I'm a big fan of hers. But one of the most accomplished horror movies ever made by a person before they could legally drive a car. Mysterious technology transformed the residents of Austin, Texas into flesh-craving zombies armed with a knife, an axe, and many pairs of flip-flops. Middle schooler Danny and her Pee-wee zombie squad take to the streets to battle the undead parents, teens, and even a toddler. With an impressive devotion to editing and storytelling, Pathogen delivers eyeball gouging, decapitations, knife fights, along with endearing perspective that could only originate from a teenager. AGFA and Bleeding Skull are overjoyed to give Pathogen its first ever wide release, complete with Zombie Girl, the movie, a feature-length documentary about the making of the movie. That's what I was going to say. We saw Zombie Girl, which is, again, is feature-length, and it talks to a lot of the Austin folks. Tim League, I remember, has interviewed some others. And you just really get a sense of what she's doing. You see her on set, making decisions. It's just really inspiring. It's something I want to show my daughter, both the movie and the making of, because my daughter is actually 12. And I just think it's the kind of thing that could make her want to go and make her own movie. Not because it seems like it's easy, but because she does such a good job. Like I said, it's inspiring. So this is originally shot on video, like just a consumer video tape. So it is preserved from the original digital video master, which looks good. What's really neat is it has a new commentary with director Emily Higgins and Bleeding Skull's Annie Choi. And that's wonderful. It's just great to hear her talking to Annie and reflecting on her filmmaking choices and just the origins of this movie. And, oh, look, there's my friend, there's my mom, there's, my dad, all that stuff. It's just such a great, joyous commentary to hear after having seen the movie. So I was really excited to hear that. I really dug that. Then you have a cast and crew Q&A from the 2006 theatrical premiere, a short called Party Killer from 2007, which she directed as a follow-up to this, which is cool. And then the full-length, feature-length documentary Zombie Girl, directed by Justin Johnson, Aaron Marshall, and Eric Mauk. So a really nice, fully loaded zombie movie that I highly recommend and was really excited to see AGFA put out. So that is Pathogen. And that's going to do it for this package. I will talk about some more of the other partner labeled titles in a future video, but I want to try and keep this brief, which I was not able to do. But anyway, it's good stuff from Vinegar Syndrome and the partners. And hopefully you enjoyed me going through them. I know a lot of people have been unboxing these lately, and I'm a little late to putting this video out, but wanted to get it out nonetheless and show that I am a fan of Vinegar Syndrome, and I continue to enjoy what they do. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.